Last night in Tampa, Donald Trump gave a rally, and these rallies, these are not presidential speeches. When President Obama was president, he traveled around the country and he actually gave speeches on issues to groups of people who showed up because they wanted to hear what he had to say. And he got heckled, he got hassled, he had people yell at him. Occasionally they would drag a heckler out who persisted, but he was the president of the United States, so I get that. People held protest signs, all kinds of stuff, right? That's how it's always been, until now. Now, Trump announced his campaign for re-election in 2020 the day after he was elected. Or maybe it was the day after he was sworn in. I don't recall, frankly, if it was November or January, but it was the day after one or the other of those two events. And has been piling up cash and aggressively fundraising. I'm on his fundraising list, and I get an email now every single day from Donald Trump, Laura Trump, Eric Trump, somebody on the staff, whatever. And it's always, today it was, or yesterday or the day before it was, whatever it was, last day of July. I think that was the day before yesterday. It was, or is today the 1st? Yeah, today's the 1st. It was yesterday. It's like, today's our deadline. We have to hit this second quarter goal or third quarter, whatever it is. And, we need your contribution now. Or it's, hey, do you want to come and have lunch with Donald Trump? And so basically they've got this huge list of donors, and they've raised tens of millions of dollars from these people. They're using a lot of that money to pay for the legal fees of the Trump children with regard to the whole Russiagate thing. But they're also, building a substantial war chest. But the unique thing about this is that they're using this list of donors, which are the reliable supporters, right? Anybody who's donated to you more than 2 or 3 times, that's your core. So they're apparently, this is, and I don't have the actual proof of this, but I have no other explanation for why there's nobody at these Trump rallies who even seems bemused by what's going on, much less protesting. Everybody is like, oh yeah, man, this is the end of the world. Yep, this is great. Where does he come up with these people? My guess is that they are only sending out invitations to these events to people who are multiple donors to the Trump campaign. And they've got a long and large list of these people all around the country because they've been doing this fundraising ever since he became president. And therefore, the audiences are entirely made up of the rabid part of Donald Trump's base, not even just the average part of his base, but the true believers, the ones who will take $10 out of their paycheck every month and send it to Donald Trump to get reelected in 2020. The funny thing is they don't even, in most of the emails, they don't even say, this is our reelection campaign. They just say, we need your help. But in any case, so the consequence of this is that you get these really rabid true believers at these rallies, which create a kind of synergy, a 2 + 2 = 5, between Trump's throwing out the red meat, throwing out the hate, right? Who can we hate on next, right? And the crowd throwing back that, to Trump as love to Trump, right? So he creates this cycle. He spits out poison, they spit love back to him, but then they turn to the people that he's been spitting poison at, whether it's people of color, whether it's immigrants, whether it's people seeking asylum, or whether it's the press. They turn to those people and their hate just pours out. Jim Acosta tweeted this last night. This is just a small clip of the crowd coming after CNN. And they're we love Trump and all this kind of stuff, and it just goes on and on and on, and they're hating on CNN, right? And Jim Acosta is like, this is the clip that he tweeted out, and you see these people giving CNN the finger. You see them, basically trashing him, going after him. This guy's got to be scared for his life. And as I said when Ellen Ratner was on at the end of the last hour, the first thing that despots go after, the first thing, if you are a politician and you want to destroy the norms of governance, destroy the norms of politics, and be able to say and do anything you want, you have to get the one power that can check you out of the equation. Now, many people think that one power is Congress or the courts, right? Hey, we have 3-part government. I learned this in 4th grade. And, you know, the judiciary and the executive branch check the legislative branch, and the legislative branch checks the executive branch, which is the president. The judiciary can check the, you know, and this is what we learned, right? This is what we think. But the fact of the matter is that if Trump did something that was wildly off the scale, say putting little children in cages, tearing them away from their mothers, and Congress stood up to do something about it, if it was never reported, you would never know it. Think about that for a minute. If Congress tried to fight back, successfully or unsuccessfully, if it was never reported, you would never know it. If the courts blocked Trump or any president, if it was never reported, you would never know it. So if you want to get around the checks and balances built into our republic, carefully put there by James Madison and others of the founders, and, you know, I get it, it was imperfect in 100 different ways. In fact, I'm writing a book right now about how the Constitution was basically a document designed to protect property rights. But if you want those checks and balances to be functional, you need a fourth check. And the framers of the Constitution understood this. Thomas Jefferson said, if I were to have to choose between a country that had a government but no newspapers, or a country that had newspapers but no government, I would surely choose the latter. Newspapers but no government. The press was that important. It's why they wrote it into the First Amendment. Freedom of the press shall not be abridged. Congress shall pass no laws abridging the freedom of the press. Now, the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, Congress has passed numerous laws abridging freedom of the press that have to do with leaks and confidential sources and things, and they should pass a law providing for the protection of the press. But the bottom line of this rant, the point of this whole rant, is that it's not the check on the power of the president is not in Congress or in the courts. Those are a check on the president, but the check on the president is the press. And so if a president wants to defy the courts, wants to defy Congress, wants to defy the will of the American people, and do something that's terribly unpopular, or even criminal, and wants to get away with it, the first thing that president has to do is destroy the credibility of the press among the American people. Cause the American people to believe that the press cannot be relied on, the press cannot be trusted. Don't believe the press. And then provide alternative options for people that simply echo your line. Fox News isn't fake news. It's the only real news out there. And you watch Fox News for 15 minutes and you go, oh my God, do people actually believe this stuff? You go to MediaMatters.org every single day. They show, I mean, just the craziness that's on Fox News. Sean Hannity, I'm reading from MediaMatters.org, and you can see these clips. Sean Hannity celebrates CNN's Jim Acosta being harassed by Trump supporters at Florida rally. Fox and Friends deceptively edit clips to claim Senator was confused about family separation policy. Right-wing, Tucker Carlson, the left's opposition to ICE violates a basic principle of Anglo-American civilization. Yes, because if we didn't come from Britain, we don't deserve to be here. Have you noticed those British people are mostly white? It's conservative. It just goes on and on. I mean, you know, and you can, as I said, Jesse Waters. Immigrants should be the best and the brightest, not some guy's uncle from Zimbabwe. A little race there, Jesse. So this is what a wannabe dictator has to do: is first destroy the credibility of the press. It's what Erdogan did in Turkey. It's what Rodrigo Duterte is doing in the Philippines right now. It's what El Sisi did in Egypt. I mean, this is happening all over the world. Any place you've got a wannabe tyrant or a despot rising up, somebody who doesn't believe in a small R republic or a small D democracy, the first thing they do is go after the press. And that's happening big time right now, and it's actually working. The press now is ranking down there with Congress in terms of credibility in the minds of the American people. This is not how it should be. 16 minutes past the hour.